Well, hey there, my friend. I'm Wendy Batten. You are listening to the Creative Shop Talk podcast. This is episode 309. Today, we're going to talk about dreaming. Have you quietly stopped dreaming about the way things that could be even better in your business? I am so excited to talk about this today. It has been a topic of conversation with many of my retailers, and I'm really excited to bring this to you. We're going to think about areas of our life and our business that we're settling. We're settling for good, and they could be great. We're going to stretch a little bit more, blow our own minds. Let's get to it. Running a retail business doesn't have to be so hard. Welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, the go-to podcast for creative shop owners, studio owners, and independent retailers. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, retail business coach and mentor. Each week, I'll share simple, proven business strategies, inspiring stories from fellow retailers, and advice from industry experts. Together, we're going to work to find the success you want from your retail business with more profits in your till and a little more joy in your life. Well, hey there, my friend. I'm Wendy Batten, and I am your host for the Creative Shop Talk podcast. Thank you for being here. If you're a new listener, welcome. We're so happy you're here. Thank you. Love to hear from you. Jump in my DMs. Love having conversations with you. Or if you're a returning listener, hey, hi friend, how are you? Glad you're back. I know we have had so many new listeners and we've had a lot of conversations lately of people jumping over into my DMs inside Instagram. I guess that's where I should share that. I'm at wendybatten.biz. I love having conversations, love continuing the conversations, and lots of conversations inside my coaching containers. So if we're in a coaching container together and something on the podcast sparks something for you, let's continue the conversation there as well. Love hearing your feedback about what you're enjoying with the podcast, what's boring you on the podcast. I love hearing that too. And today I need to remind you, or I need to share with you, not remind you, I need to tell you that there's birds chirping like crazy outside my window. Spring, it feels so slow coming here. I'm just waiting for spring to arrive. I'm in Atlantic Canada, if you don't know, and it has been long coming, and the birds are going crazy today. I'm in my podcast studio, and I can hear the birds through the windows and through the doors. And anyway, I'm sharing that because if you hear these squawks outside, it is the seagulls, and they are just welcoming you as well. So welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast. Old or new, OG, if you've been listening for all 309 podcasts, you need a medal. You have to let me know if that's the case. If you've listened to the majority of my podcasts, let me know. I know I do have a lot of listeners. A shout out to those of you who have been reaching out lately. Lots of conversations. Again, as I mentioned earlier, so fun. I love that. We're here in the podcast. I do this podcast for you. I do this podcast because I'm on a mission to make sure that you are running a business that feels good, that's profitable, that gives you joy, that doesn't burn you out. We are trying to give you resources. And the work that I do is through coaching, consulting. I have on-demand programs. I have containers meaning a little bit closer proximity so we can work together. And I do have one-to-one programs, and those fill up pretty quickly. So I'd love, if you're interested in that, reach out. Let's have a conversation. We're not meant to do business alone. I'm bringing 30 years of self-employment to the table. I feel like at this stage, I'm 58 years old, friends, and we've been having lots of conversations about just making sure that we are optimizing for intense joy in our businesses. And I see my clients doing that. We're, seeing profit and success under their terms, but at the very top of the funnel, is that what it's called? The funnel of life. We need to make sure that we are enjoying what we're doing. We're continuing to have passion for what we do. We need to make sure, and I share this from a point of view of, it's tough. Being self-employed can be tough. There are hills and valleys and hills and valleys. It's just, you never arrive, by the way. It's like you're never done. There's always something. We just had something in our business this week, and it's like, oh my goodness. But what gets you through, and what my mission is to make sure that when you do have those gaps, you have people around you that you can reach out to, lean into, or you have resources, or you just have the resilience build up because you feel confident in your role as a founder. And that gap, you can get through it pretty quickly. You're just going to get back up that hill. We're just going to get through this dip, this little gap, this little dip, and we're just going to keep moving. And that's what self-employed life is about. That is what I'm here to help you do. Run a really beautiful retail business. I get to work with the coolest people. I have the coolest people in my group. So if you're really cool and you're ambitious and you love your business and you love what you do, you're in the right place. So thank you for being here. If you have the opportunity, I would love if you would share, if you find anything helpful through the podcast, if you find this episode helpful or you enjoy any of these podcast episodes, it helps us greatly, my team and I, and myself personally. If you would share on social media, share with your friends, share with a fellow shopkeeper. It really does mean a lot to me that you would do that. If you could also hit that subscribe button wherever you are listening to the podcast, there's a subscribe button. That means you will get notified. You'll know when there's a new podcast episode. And again, that tells all the algorithm thingies that we're worth listening to. So I appreciate all of that. That is my ask as we jump into today's episode here on the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I wanted to talk to you about something that has been a conversation for the longest time. My clients, if they're listening right now, they're like, well, yeah, this isn't new, Wendy. Talking about stretching our minds of what's possible for ourselves. And that sounds really lofty, doesn't it? It sounds really lofty. But what has happened in the last little while, I have personally, I'm going to tell you from my point of view, I had a meeting with a fellow coach. So we coach on completely different things, and we met together. We're friends in another community, and we sat down and we had a Zoom coffee date, co-coaching, I think we called it. And we had the greatest conversation. And what I realized was, of course, we need people in our world to speak into our world. And she said to me, are you settling? You're just settling for this, or you're not stretching because things were good. She's like, how are things in that area? I'm like, things are good. And I was like, whoa, right? We get to a point sometimes that we have to remember good is the enemy of great. And I love that quote, but what does that mean in real life? What did that mean for me? Sometimes we put ceilings on our standards. Sometimes we put ceilings on possibilities. We worked really hard for certain things to get done certain ways or to reach a certain goal. And we've achieved something. Maybe we've achieved something. Opening your shop. It's good. It's open. It's great. Things are good. It's good, but could it be better? Maybe it's an income level. Maybe you've reached a certain or revenue goal. Maybe, for me, I'm going to share a couple of things that I've really gone down this deep dive with and with my clients, because I've been having this conversation with my clients. I'm very excited. So I talk fast, friends. And if you're listening to me on a 2x speed, I know it's really hard to keep up. I get excited when I talk about things. So I'm trying to slow down in my speech on my podcast, but here we are. So is there a next level? Is there something you could stretch a little bit more? Are you settling for this good thing? And hear me out. This doesn't mean we're going for more and more and more all the time. But one of the things I realized is that we quietly stop dreaming sometimes. Like we quietly stop dreaming of things being better. And I really felt that for myself. And I've watched my clients over the last little while dream a little bit deeper, stretch a little bit more, and just things have really made some changes. So again, this is not more for the sake of more. This isn't like, go out and buy a bigger house or do more, or because I'm the opposite of that, actually. There has to be a why around it. And it has to be something that you're stretching for because it's enriching your life in some way. That's how I look at it. Like when I'm thinking about, maybe I could do that a little different. Maybe that could be better. Could be better than this. Everything can be better. Like we can stretch all the time, right? And it feels good to stretch sometimes, right? Even if you do a real live stretch, right? Your body's fine. It's good the way it is. But if you do a stretch, that feels good, right? We need to stretch a little bit. Again, it's not always about bigger and better and more. It's not about a bigger business, or this is about stretching something and making it go from good to great. So I really want to make sure you hear me say that. So the conversations that I've been having, and again, what helps me personally think about going from good to great in different areas is from conversations, it's from traveling, it's from experiencing different things, getting out of my own bubble, getting out of your shop once in a while. Like, if you get out and you go and you do different things, you see different things, you experience, you're like, well, why can't I do that? What could that look like for me? So for me, one of the things that I started thinking about was in my story. Many of you may know my story of learning to ride a bike. I was terrified to ride a bike a few years ago. Bought a bike, got into biking. I'm still a terrible biker. I'm good, right? This is like, I'm fine. I'm good. I go out on my bike. Everything is good. I never once fancied myself as somebody who actually gets on a bike and goes places, but I love it. I love going on it. And at one point in time, I would never have thought of myself somebody who could go down on a trail. Like when my husband, he goes biking on this trail, and I wanted to go with him and our friends. And now I do. Now I can do that. And so it's good. And that's it. I worked really hard to get there, by the way. It was really scary for me. And I just had a real fear around biking. But then I realized I have placed a ceiling on my ability. What? I'm a coach. Oh my goodness. But coaches need coaches too, right? So my friend challenged me on some other areas, but I realized this with the biking. I've put a ceiling on what, oh, I'm a biker now. Check, box, done. The ceiling has been met. The standard is there. But while I was away in New Zealand recently, I have a friend who was going on, and my husband, they were talking about going on a multi-day biking biking trip. And then we started talking about doing it in Europe, and they were all having this conversation around the table. And I was like, what? Wait, I can't do that. I'm not that person. Like a multi-day, like bike and barge thing. And I was like, that's just not our world. That's not my world. That's not our world. That's not me. And then I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm not thinking expansively. Like, why can't I? Okay, and so my clients are now laughing at, because I'm always saying that, why can't you? It's such a simple question. And what could that look like? Literally, I just have to like get a little more confident on why can't I? So that's just one example. I just wanted to show you where I put a ceiling on that. Another thing, this kind of goes back a little ways, but I was thinking about this while I was talking to a client slash friend who's an interior designer. And things evolve, our dreams evolve, or our standards evolve, right? So I live in a dodgy old cottage. I've shared this before. We ran away from our big house. I live in a little cottage by the sea. It is a tiny little cottage, very imperfect, whatever. But the first year we were here, we actually had it as a rental in the living room. And so I had like this little IKEA couch in there, and everything was fine. It was fine. And at the time I was also doing workshops, paint workshops. I was teaching people to paint workshops. So all of the furniture here was these little pieces of painted furniture, and I used it as a blog post background, and it was good. It was good. It's functionable, and it was good. And then we moved here, and I had to make it a little bit better. So I changed it up a little bit. It got great. Like I thought it was good. And then it went to what I thought was great, but something was missing. It just felt good. It didn't feel great. And I couldn't see how it could be any different. I just couldn't. So I feel like I needed to have somebody else's eyes onto this space as we were evolving. And like my husband and I kept saying, there's got to be a better way. It's good. It's all good. It's fine. Everything's fine. It was okay. It didn't look bad. If I showed you a picture, you'd be like, it's fine. But it just wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't great. And so I hired Marsha Selfrick, who's a interior designer. And I'm going to put her link here. She's so amazing. She also works with interior designers, putting a plug in for her, helping them build their businesses. And I asked Marsha to help me, and she did. And it's because she had a different vision. So she could see the great, like the possibilities different than I could. She had a different lens, different perspective. So Marsha gave me some ideas, and we like literally, and if I can dig out the before and after, I will show you, because she did the thing and did the graphic thing. What do you call that? Anyway, she gave me visual, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's great. And I love it. And it went from good to great because I had stopped thinking about like my limitations, or I had stopped thinking through the lens of my limitations. And I really appreciated the fact that like it's great now. It feels good. We stretched our imagination by bringing in somebody else. Another thing, I'm going to tell you another one that it's through my business. So again, my business has been evolving. When I had the retail store, everything was good. The store was good. Everything was good. It was really, really good. I loved it. Everything was really good. I was coaching and I had the store and everything was good. And then like the suggestion was, maybe we start thinking about how could it be great? Well, it'd be really great. The coaching world would be great. We could move to the cottage, if someone bought our business and we sold the business. Like, what could that look like? That was the line we used. We went from good to great, right? So we worked really hard to build the business, to build the shop, to do the things. I worked really hard to set up my living room the first time to get to that point. So everything felt good, but I had to start stretching myself. Well, what would make it great? Like what would make the lifestyle or the goals that we have, or like what could that look like? I love that line, I love that line. What could that look like? Right? So how do we go from good to great? And the filter, again, we're going to filter out different parts of our life and our business. And I go through all what I call my life pillars, and I love to go through each stage. And so we do this regular work, but it did take that other coach, my friend, to say, something about like my business and like, how could we go from where we are right now? Everything's good to great. So we've got some great new things happening in my business and in my world. And I'm so excited about it, but it takes other people's perspective sometimes. So I just wanted to also share some of my clients' wins. So recently I've been talking about this to some of my clients, and where have they gone from good to great? And we've had conversations. And so one of my clients, it's really interesting. Her income was really good. Like her business was good. Like it was really, really good. And she had some big dreams. Like, do you want to help fund her kids through university and some other things? And I'm like, well, what could that look like? So a couple of years ago, we were like, what could that look like? And she's like, oh, dang it. I gotta like stretch a little bit more and think differently, think about possibilities. And she has built her business. At one point, she was like all in, and now she's hands off. I don't mean all in. She's still all in, but now she's hands off. Her team take care of everything like day to day. Her revenue goals have blown off the chart. Like they're off the chart of where we thought they could go. She's like literally blowing her own mind. And that's really something that we need to, I get these texts from her and she's like, look at this number. And I'm like, look at this number, and she's happy. Again, we talked about it at the beginning of this session or this podcast episode. It's really about having a lot of fun while we stretch ourselves, while we think differently. Time, where she spends her time, the same particular client. I have another client who 1 year ago, it was 1 year, about 30 days ago. It was 1 year ago. We had a meeting. We actually went back. We actually went back, and her and I looked at her coaching session that we had a year ago. And 1 year later, everything was good. Her shop was good. Things were good. They really were. They were good. They were fine. Customers are coming in. Her revenue was okay. Something was missing. There was something missing. And I pulled it out of her and we started to talk about refining her brand. She had opened her business and just sort of evolved, like, as one does. We all do that. And just started refining. And she said, I really feel like I could move into like a different type of clientele and a different type of branding. And I'm like, well, why can't you? She's like, I can. So we started thinking differently, started stretching, started going from good to great. So she shifted her positioning, she shifted her clientele, her merchandising, her product line, slowly, slowly, slowly. Her staff actually shifted out and some like staff shifted in because she started, having higher expectations. Her standards were set at a certain level and everything was good. Everything was fine. But she just slowly started making it better. And now, oh my gosh, she has an incredible brand. She has built an incredible brand, a shop that feels like her. She is happy. She is joyful. Her staff, her team, they're all aligned. Everything is aligned now. And she literally told me, Wendy, I'm like, I've blown my own mind. And like it took a year to get to all of that. And honestly, we're not always going to do all these shifts in a day, right? But so exciting, right? So my question to you is, are there areas in your life, like my bicycle, like my biking, or in your business, your health, maybe there's something, in relationships, I don't know, your environment. Is there parts of your life or your business that you haven't thought about lately, about a little bit different? Like, have you quietly stopped dreaming in different areas that how they could be a little bit better? And it's okay, by the way, to dare to dream. It's okay that you've worked really hard and you've reached a certain area. I don't know. I also hear a little bit of feedback sometimes like, I shouldn't want more. I don't deserve more. And I mean, maybe you're not saying that out loud. I've pulled that out of people before, and I've thought that like, oh, I'm not deserving of, I already have this great business, or I already have this thing. Or maybe you're just like, again, really afraid to be honest with yourself about where things could be great. It's okay to dream, my friend. It's okay to dream. It's okay to want to blow your own mind. It's actually wildly exciting. And I keep saying, I guess, again, I'm 58 years old. I'm at this point now where things just need to feel good and be good and I don't know, and joyful. And that's what, I don't know, this midlife thing. I don't know. Anyway, I really think that time is collapsing and how you spend your time, what you're doing with your business, why are you even in business? Like, if it's not fun and fueling you, and you are deserving to have that dream, to keep dreaming and to keep making that business, that the whatever's in your head, or your life, whatever's in your head. So you deserve to stretch a little bit, think a little bit, stretch yourself. I like to say I'm punching the ceiling sometimes. Like, I'm punching the ceiling. Don't cap yourself. Like, you know, don't set a ceiling like well, I'm making enough money. This is as much, like, I can't possibly make any more, or I can't possibly bike any further, or I can't possibly learn how to do that. You are so capable of it. You are so capable of it. I already know it. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already super ambitious and capable. And I just want to be your voice in your head or in your earbuds that reminds you that, you can do whatever it takes to blow your own mind. So that's the work I love to do as well too. So if you have a list, or you have some things, or you need some new perspective, feel free, reach out, jump in my DMs, book a call. Let's do it. If you're in any of my containers and you feel like, Wendy, let's do it. Where's my opportunity? I love looking at businesses and, seeing where that expansion is possible. And again, your reminder that this isn't making something, that's not going to enrich your life better. Different parts of your business really do enrich your life. The filter is always, would this just blow my mind if I got to this, like, if I could bike and barge and like do a trip, it would blow my mind. If you ever hear me, if you ever following me on social media and you ever hear in my world that I am on a trip and I am biking someplace, that like is going to be hilarious, I'm going to be blowing my own mind at that time. There's just things in my business too, right? That we have to get excited about. And I want that for you as well too. Okay. I know this is a rambly one. I didn't mean it for it to be rambly. It's this literally, I'm just very excited. My hands are moving. If you've ever worked with me, my hands go, and my neighbor's walking by outside and I'm sure he's wondering, what is Wendy doing? And the birds are still chirping. And anyway, I'm very excited to see how you blow your own mind. Thank you for listening to the podcast today. I love that you're here. I love you. I think that you are doing amazing, beautiful things in your world, and wishing you nothing but an amazing week ahead. Hope to see you next time here on the Creative Shop Talk podcast. Hey, don't forget, leave a review if you haven't already. My team always tell me I forget to remind you, so leave a review if you have not. Reach out to me if any of this sparked anything, just to have a conversation. Again, just sometimes I just talk to my mic. I don't know if anybody's listening. Let me know if you have any thoughts, comments, or feedback, and you want to continue the conversation. Jump in my DMs on Instagram. I'm at wendybatten.biz over there, and I love chatting. Okay, friends, we'll see you next week. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so glad that you're here to join us this week, and I hope you found value in what we're sharing here. I want to remind you that our website has all of the show notes. You can find it at wendybatten.com/podcast. Everything that you need to hear about today's podcast is there. Also an opportunity if you need to reach out to me. If I can support you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. So thanks for joining us. Please leave a review, subscribe if you can, and never miss an episode. We hope to see you back here again next week. Thanks, my friend. Have a great week.